Alright, I heard you guys loud and clear. Let's talk about the new banners. This was the most requested thing on last night's stream, and I have a lot of opinions. And they're all good, But first, before that, let's talk about the free gacha. And I know most of you have probably done it. Let me know in the comments section down below if you get anything really, really good. I haven't done mine yet, and I like to do mine on this video. So let's go ahead and burn that real quick, and then we'll get on to talking about the other one. Now, this is a free 11 draw. It's only guaranteed 3-star. Any 4-star in here is one of the most. Oh, nice. Oh, okay. I'll take that. I'll absolutely take that. We haven't had that kind of luck in a minute. So, all the 4-stars in here are released in the last 12 months. So, there's some pretty good ones in here. You can't get anything that's like old and antiquated. So, that's actually kind of hype. And I know it's really kind of to celebrate Asia's release, but it really does help your results when you're going after something here. So there's something hype in here. Let's see if we can figure it out. New phone, who dis? I don't know who that is. I'm gonna be real, I don't know who that is. Oh, okay. Okay. Alright. I will definitely take a dupe of her. That is not a bad thing by any stretch. Alright. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that's probably the only one. Yep. And we always finish with Raul for some reason. So, that's pretty hype. That Riveri is actually very, very welcomed. Yeah, let me know if you guys got something hype on your summons. I'll be back next week to talk about the free gacha there when that drops. But let's talk about the brand new gachas that came to this game. And I know everybody's been asking me, which one is the one to hit? 100%. This banner right here is the one to hit. Everybody on this banner is ridiculous. Let's talk about this, okay? Now, that's assuming you have Argonaut and Krazo. If you have Argonaut and Krazo, you want to hit this banner with the Might of Thor. I promise you. Alright, so first things first, Leafia. Let's talk about what Leafia does, okay? I'll get to her super attack in a minute because I normally forget those, but they're really important this time. Burn up. Foes, plural, fast mid-fire attack, and allies, magic, agility, and fire attack damage plus 25% for 3 turns. So she buffs everybody. Okay? She does magic, agility, and fire buffs across the board. You paying attention to Krazo yet? Remember, that dude has insane agility buffs. He doesn't give himself any fire buffs. He doesn't give himself any strength buffs. He's not a magic type, but follow me here. So, buffing everybody to the absolute moon. Okay? That's truly really awesome. Okay? Glittering Fire. Foes, plural, super fire magic attack with temporary magic boost and ultra penetration rate with a 30% taunt. Remember, the main thing what that taunt does is when you actually get a taunt achieved, it basically negates anybody on the opposing team from using an AoE attack. Generally, it targets that person. But if you get that 30% off, that is then going to negate them doing that AoE. And the way these things work is it's going to do a 30% roll for each person. So basically, 3/10 of the time, if you have, like, say, a D10, anything, 7 or higher is going to give you, roughly, per unit, that ability. So you have pretty good odds of taunting at least one person on the team, and that's just kind of statistically the way that works. Star's Wink. Foe singular. High magic attack with temporary magic boost, ultra penetration rate, and 60% taunt. Now, that 60% taunt is only the single foe you hit. Unlike the previous one, which is an AoE which hits everybody, this only hits the person that you're actually attacking. But, really good stuff on this one. Really, really, really good stuff. Mostly that burn up attack. And I'll show you the build that I've got for Record Buster using both these units. Okay? Special Arts. Foes, plural, ultra fire magic attack with temporary magic boost, ultra on guard rate, and allies, fire attack damage plus 65% for 1 turn. Now, I haven't tested it, but I do imagine, let's say you get that off, and you have like Argonaut and Cross or somebody active on the other side that will continue that buff. I wonder if that will still going. I see no reason why it wouldn't, but sometimes these things don't, so it really depends. It might be a one-turn thing, but either way, we'll talk about what to do with that here in a moment. Okay? Let's talk about Filvis, because I have her +3, and I'm chasing her. She's awesome. Foes, fast, mid-fire magic attack, with agility, magic resist, and fire resist, minus 25% for 3 turns. Are you paying attention? Leafia boosts your units. Filvis nerfs your opponents. It's that straightforward. The only thing she doesn't do is strength down, but that agility down is going to be hype. Now, I am aware Crossbow has a better agility down, but follow me. I've got a build for you guys. Follow me, okay? Prime Comet. Foes, plural, super fire magic attack with temporary magic boost and ultra unguard rate with a 25% seal. Once again, it's going to roll that die, and a quarter of the time, you are going to get a seal on somebody. So, you hit a team of 4, one person's most likely sealed. Not guaranteed, obviously. It doesn't quite work like that, but once again, it's a roll of the die per unit you hit. So, statistically speaking, one person on each team will be sealed. Roughly, give or take. Once again, don't come back screaming at me, you said one person on each team. No, I said statistically speaking, that's about what it equates to. You could have a full team seal, you could have 4 turns of no team seal. It just really depends. But that's super awesome. Okay? High fire magic attack with temporary magic boost and ultra penetration rate plus 50% seal. Now, once again, that's foe singular, but that's just an attack. So really, the last 2 on here are just attacks. That's it. So you've got Levy that does a big buff, Filvis that does a big debuff. Now check this out. Foes, ultra fire magic attack with temporary magic boost, ultra on guard rate, and fire resist minus 50% for 1 turn. Are you paying attention to what just happened there? Basically, if you build your stack to put Leafia first, Filvis second, Crossbow third, and Argonaut fourth, and you do a 4-way combo, she's going to buff everybody's attack damage, debuff their resistance, and when Argonaut and Crossbow come in, they're going to do crazy, crazy, crazy damage. Then do their combo and get even more. I haven't actually tried this. I haven't actually gotten the full results of that yet, but we'll talk about a Record Buster build that I've got going that really takes advantage of this. So we'll get to that here in a moment. Let's talk about eyes. Okay? MLB, eyes does strength, magic, physical resist, and magic resist plus 10%. So strength, magic, physical, and magic resist plus 10%. That's pretty sweet. Not the best numbers we've ever seen, but some good numbers. Status debuff -3. So, okay, status buff -3. So that one I'm still, I'll be real, I'm not completely sure how that works. There's a couple different ways that it could go, and I'm not 100%. I'd have to do a little more research on that if I'm completely honest. I don't know if that happens every time she gets a buff. That seems a little too OP. I'm assuming it happens at the beginning of the turn, or maybe upon the first buff. I don't think it's going to stay the whole turn. I'd have to look more into that. I apologize. I don't have all the details on that. But either way, just a great assist. And yes, I'm definitely after her. Okay? Before I get to the other banner, I'll show you the Record Buster build that I've got going. Okay? And we'll talk here about this. Okay? So, you'll see I've got Filvis on there. Remember, Ravis never debuffs your units. She only removes the debuffs on herself. So, what you need to do is you need to keep Filvis on your team so she can keep doing those debuffs. Now, I'm aware Krauso could debuff too, but it takes him 2 turns to do just about what she does in 1 turn. So it's a little bit, for my build, a little bit better to keep her on there. Plus, if you're paying attention, you'll see what she can do here. She comes in, she does her big buff, right? And I'm holding it this way like you can even see it. She does her big debuff, and basically you can keep doing that. It's turn 6 and 10, I believe, that she does the debuff removals on. So just make sure you keep hitting her with that. I think those are the 2 turns where she does those. Then obviously you've got Argonaut and Krazo on there. The other thing you'll notice is I have Line on there. Now, Line, we have another Line, and we'll talk about her in just a second. She has the revolving magic amulet, because that's going to improve her basically damage output. But the big thing she does is she increases your SA gauge 33%. The fact that Argonaut and Krazo are basically just sitting there the entire time, well, Krazo to a lesser extent, or Argonaut to a lesser extent. Krazo is doing nothing but keeping the buffs in play. So when Line does her thing, he's going to keep that just basically in play the whole time. Okay? So her 33% buff to everybody never goes away in this one. It's never wasted. It's always in place. Okay? Argonaut, on the other hand, you have to buff, and then on the next turn, he's going to keep the debuffs in play. But that's going to be more than enough, because then after that, we have Leafia coming up. Now, you'll notice Leafia also has a revolving amulet on, and the reason for that is because Leafia is just going to come in, and she's going to buff the team. In a perfect world, I'd like her to come in and basically do her super attack so that she could... so that we could have that big buff from that, but I don't think there's any way we could actually make that work unless I just turned her into a crush unit, which is possible, but I really don't like that option at the moment, because turn 3 comes, and now I've got Haruhime. Okay? So we've got Leafia's big buff. We've got the debuff constantly from Philvis. We've got Krazo and Argonaut now, who are just basically after the first turn. Argonaut and Krazo are doing nothing but keeping the buffs in play. They do nothing but do faux singular and keep the buffs up to date. That's it. Buffs and debuffs up to date. That's it. Haruhime comes in. She's going to improve the counter rate. She's going to debuff the opponent one more time. Okay? Because that's going to debuff her strength. Because remember, Philvis can't debuff strength, so you have to debuff the strength with Haruhime. The only downside is I don't have anybody on this team that removes the actual strength buff, but we'll get to that in a moment, because you kind of want to assess that with assists. Okay? Haruhime is then going to increase counter rate. She'll do it once per turn. Then she's going to do big debuff, make sure everybody survives that first super attack. Immediately after that, she's going to do her special. That is going to keep 100% strength and 100% magic on everybody for the rest of the match. So in a way, Leafia is, I won't say wasted, but her big magic buff kind of becomes null. But then again, her big magic buff doesn't really do anything. The big thing we're getting out of her... Ooh, did not mean to do that. Crap. I have to go rebuild that. Anyway, the big thing Leafia does then at that point is she keeps that fire buff in place. So I've got to go rebuild that team, unfortunately. That's what you get when you F around with it sometimes. But I digress. Good stuff. That team is busted, and it's doing crazy amounts of damage. So, they are awesome. If you have Argonaut and Krazo, you cannot miss out on those two. But this one's also really good. So let's go ahead and talk about this. This is a 3-assist gacha. There is no... I'm sorry, 3 adventure gacha. There is no assist on this gacha. Alright? Let's talk about what this Line does. Okay? So, foes. Slow, super light attack with ultra and counter rate. Remove strength and magic buffs. Remember, we were looking for that with the other team. I don't have anybody that removes strength buffs. And for me, realistically, it's not really worth keeping her on the team, because I don't need those strength buffs removed all the time. Okay? Remove strength buffs and HP regen skills. So any HP regen skills, she will also negate. That means she's going to be stupid good for war games. Pay attention. Now, she won't remove assist skills, but that's kind of a thing. Okay? Allies. Fast, increase SA gauge, charge gain by 33%, just like the other Line does. And critical and penetration rate up 20%. I'd have to go see what the other one does, but I don't think it's quite that. But she's kind of minimal on that regard. This one, removing strength and magic buffs, is kind of a big deal. That's a War Games killer right there. Glaring Force. Foe singular, high physical attack damage, plus 40% per each increased critical rate. So basically, if you give her critical rate increase there, give her an assist that increases critical rate, she'll do 80% damage, and she'll be pretty wild. So that's super handy. Plus, she's a light unit, so if you have somebody that increases light damage, you've got even that going for you. So, pretty good unit. And notice, she's a physical unit. So if you have someone like Haruhime has already got their super attack off, and then she gets 100% strength buff on top of that, I don't know what to tell you guys. She could be an absolute monster. Now, basically I will say she's the physical version of the other Line who's magical, who does a little bit different stuff. Okay, so there's some question as to which one is actually better. The other one has crazy debuffs. This one just removes the strength and magic buffs. So the other one actually debuffs their damage. This one removes it. So there's some question as to it kind of would come down to the team you've built and what purposes you're going for. I think this one is all around going to be better for War Games. And it also depends, because if you're going to throw them on a team that already has a debuffer, this one actually could be better. I they say they're about 50-50. It really comes down to building the right team for the right unit. Okay? Her special arts. Avoids KO ×1 only when HP is greater than 1% and 75% HP regen for 3 turns. That has 75% HP regen for 3 turns is actually pretty good. I don't know if her special arts is really all that great, but it's a thing. Okay? It could save your ass, but for me, it's an allies buff, and I'm a big fan of, even though I swear by Haruhime, for the most part, I'm a big fan of special attacks that are more damage based, but that's just kind of where I'm at. I don't know that special effect is really all that great, if I'm honest. Okay? Now, let's talk about Anya Kitty. Anya Kitty. Foe's fast, mid-light physical attack with ultra encounter rate. Damage received, attack all, and single targets, minus 20%. Most of your units are either going to do multiple attack or single attack. She does both. There's a handful of units that do that in the game, and she is now one of them, and that's ridiculous. Basically, she's just increasing everybody's damage output 20%, regardless of what they do. And that's not a strength buff. That's not a magic buff. That's not a type advantage buff. That is a separate type of buff. So basically, if you already have a damage output buff, she's a damage output buff. If you already have a strength or magic buff on your units, and you already have a type advantage buff, this is the third type of buff you could use to create even more damage. So, in theory, I could actually put her in my stack that I built prior and get crazy amounts of damage. The problem is there's limited amounts of space for those types of units, so you got to use her wisely. But she's really good in that regard. Okay, 20% is not groundbreaking. A 30-35% would be really better, but the fact that she does alt and single kind of offsets that a little bit, so you can actually mix and match, because most teams now, anymore, the units we're getting are not dedicated AoE or dedicated single attack. Most of them kind of, like the ones you see here, kind of mix and match, so I think she's really good for the modern type of unit. Super light physical attack with ultra penetration rate and self-strength and light attack plus 40%. Pretty much a general buff, nothing too crazy there. 40% for 4 turns is good, not outstanding, but it's good. It's very good. Highlight physical attack damage plus 40% per each target's skill effect and increases damage attack type single targets. So in other words, Damage 40% per each target's skill effect that increases damage received. So in other words, like that first attack, Spectacular, everything that they have affecting him that does something like that is going to increase her damage output another 40%. So if you have an assist that does it, that, notice, increases single target attacks. So there's a few assists that do that. That will actually increase her up to 40 or up to 80%. It's going to be pretty crazy. Then throw on any strength boost, anything like that. These units are all amazing. These units are all really, really good. Okay. Dancing Princess Eyes. Oh, I didn't talk about her special attack. Special attack on Onyxity's foes, ultra light physical attack with temporary strength boost and ultra unguard rate. Allies critical rate and penetration rate 50% for 1 turn. That's good, but not groundbreaking, and I really think the other ones on the other one are better, but I'm probably also just thinking of it for my teams. All around, I think the special arts on these units are not groundbreaking, but I forget what Eyes does, so we'll talk about her in a second. Eyes is foe singular across the board. Remember I said we don't generally get that anymore? She's kind of become the exception of the rule. Foe singular, mid-fire physical attack, and physical resist, and fire resist minus 30% for 3 turns. So a really good debuff, but she only hits 1 person with that. Gotta be careful with that. Some of these really awesome debuffs only happen to 1 unit, and we have better debuffers out there. Foe, high fire, physical attack with high unguard rate, allies, physical resist and magic resist plus 30% for 3 turns. That's ridiculous. That's awesome. Really great buff. Absolutely fantastic unit. I can't say enough great shit. Foe singular super fire. Super's pretty much the highest we can get right now. Fire, physical attack with high penetration rate and allies strength and fire attack damage plus 30% for 3 turns. So basically, she's a really awesome buffer. Not so much a very good attack unit, but a really awesome buffer with some effects. That's kind of what she would be used for. She would just be used for a buffer. Okay? Foe singular. Once again, foe singular on an SA is kind of weird. Ultra fire. I mean, there's plenty of them out there. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's just not the norm. High fire physical attack damage plus 60% per each self strength buff and SA gauge charge by 100%. Wait, what? Strength buff and increase SA gauge charge by 100% for 5 turns. She's not groundbreaking. She's just kind of alright. Yeah. So this banner is good, but not, for me, not the one I want to lose my shirt on. This is more generally a good banner. This banner is really... Ooh, where'd it go? We keep passing it. We keep passing it. That one. This banner is really, really awesome for if you have Argonaut and Krasos. So for me, this banner is getting all my attention right now. This banner, I'll probably just pull one of each and then just fart around with them. But that's about it. This banner, though, I'm going to go ahead and do one more pull on this. I'm on pull, I think, 7 now, something like that. I mean, I'm coming to the end of it. But it's guaranteed 4 stars, so let's go do this. Okay. We need some fire on this one. We need some wicked fire on this one. Okay. Leafia. Misha. Oka. I can't pronounce his name. Come on. Come on, it's just going to be the guaranteed at this point, isn't it? New phone, who dis? You can't tell because they all say QD Beam. Okay, alright, Leafia. I'll take that. My first dupe in Leafia. Absolutely stoked about that. Okay, so this is going to be the eyes then, I'm assuming? Yes. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Definitely needed a dupe in her. So, great results of that pull. Absolutely fantastic results of that pull. So, I can't say enough great stuff about this banner. This banner is so very, very, very good. Now, the big question is, what about saving? Well, you notice I burned all my iris. My iris is gone. That said, we'll be getting more iris. You know, we got Record Buster coming up this week, hopefully. Like, because my goal is to actually do really, really good in this Record Buster, and then save from this point on. Because we've got, we keep saying that there is a collab coming up. There's a collab, but it's not until January. So you got 2 months to save. As has been brought up, that doesn't mean there's 2 months for really good stuff to come out. But I just can't see anybody better for my teams that I've been building than them right now. Plus, I can almost guarantee you that the next Familia Rush is going to be a fire type. It just seems like they're lining it up for that. It could be fire and physical, but we'll see. We'll see. So, or favoring fire and light is what I meant to say. But either way, fantastic units. I love these banners. I've gone on now for almost half hour about how good these banners are and how much I love them, and the different types of builds you could do for them. So I've got to go increase all my stuff. I've got to farm up a little more Iris, and I am going to go pretty hard on these because I really think these are good banners. So if you want my opinion, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get at least one of each of these because they're good. But the other thing to bear in mind is they are not time limited. So they're going to be in every banner going forward. Now that said, the 4-star pool is deep now. Very, very deep. So they're getting harder to come by. But that also means Prism Bonds work on them. You can use Prism Bonds on these units. So it's worth thinking about. And the other thing I'll mention, when it comes to the collab, let's get out of here. I want to go down to the shop. When it comes to the collab, save your gnome tickets. Because remember, with these collabs, they come around extremely rarely. And collab units are always awesome. So it is wise, yes, to spend on these banners, but it's also wise to save a certain amount. For me, I have almost 4,000 gnome tickets, and that would be 4 star bonds for an adventurer, or, a few star bonds for an assist. Almost, not quite 3, I'm pretty close. So if I'm lacking anybody that I really, really, really need when the banners go away, I have my backup plan. So save your gnome tickets 100%. Gnome tickets aren't going anywhere. So hedge your bets, save your gnome tickets, spend a little bit now, but after you've done spending, after you've gotten everything you need, save. I can't stress that enough. That's going to be the video, guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Let me know if you got anything good from that free gacha. Other than that, guys, I've rambled on long enough. Follow my Birdman, hit me up on Booker. I'll be back at you guys with more Danmachi. We'll talk about Record Buster probably tomorrow.